All right. So you told me last night you had something you wanted to rail about. First thing.
Okay. Well, true to form, you didn't listen. That's not what I said. I said, I will ask you to please indulge me at the top of the show, given what it is we're talking about. I didn't say anything about rail against.
Okay. Well,
can I do my thing?
The floor is yours.
Thank you. On the 23rd day of the month of September, in an early year of a decade not too long before our own, the human race suddenly encountered a deadly threat to its very existence. And this enemy surfaced, as such enemies often do, in the seemingly most innocent and unlikely of places.
That's it?
Yeah, I just really like that part.
Okay.
You have to start the episode with the way the movie starts.
Do we?
I do on this one.
Okay. Well, this is definitely your episode. So,
you always know how to knock the wind
away.
out of my sails.
No.
Yes,
I'm glad you're excited, and I'm happy that this is something that you want to talk about.
It was your idea.
Yeah. This whole week has been like Jessica week.
It's
apparently.
highly suspicious. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, because
it was wife distraction earlier this week. I think you just wanted to listen to music and not listen to me talk because obviously we work side by side in our home. And so you had your earbuds in, but then you selected things for me to watch.
Yeah.
So I was immediately like, what is going on when you put Labyrinth on?
Mm-hmm.
And then you put Willow on. The movie, not the show. We don't talk about the show. And then you put on The Dark Crystal, which is my favorite movie of all time.
Yes. I mean, can't I just do something nice?
No, it's
Why does there have to be an ulterior motive
What's
here?
the angle?
Nothing.
What's the get? Who's the target?
I was busy at work, and I didn't want to sit here and scroll through our apps to find something to watch. I
was quoting It's Always Sunny.
I know.
With the musical that Charlie made. Because, yeah, like, so what's the point here? You don't just do that.
Yeah. I mean, look, at the end of the day, this episode, we're going to be talking about musicals.
Hell yeah.
And we're going to be talking about one of the better ones.
Easily.
By far.
Yeah.
Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll get to that after the theme song.
Show about pop culture stuff. We keep watching and connected, but it's never enough. Talking with our friends about our favorite things, TV shows and movies and some random swearing. Hey! This is the pretty, this is the little, this is the pretty little podcast.
Hello, all you pretty little people. This is the Pretty Little Podcast. I'm your host, Deadbeat Chad. With me is just Jess.
Hello.
How do you want to start this? Because...
Well, I think I should start by explaining what it is in case people don't know.
I doubt anybody doesn't know about this.
This is one of my parts of the show. Little Shop of Horrors is a 1986 American horror comedy musical film directed by Frank Oz. It's an adaptation of the 1982 off-Broadway musical of the same name by composer Alan Menken and writer Howard Ashman, which is itself an adaptation of the 1960 film The Little Shop of Horrors by director Roger Corman.
Yes. Now, I have seen the original Little Shop of Horrors black and white film.
I haven't.
It's been a while. I think I've seen it twice in my life. It's not my favorite thing in the world.
I mean, obviously, it's not a musical.
No, it isn't.
It's a Roger Corman movie.
It is, we watched the musical version with your mother last night.
We did, but the bad ending.
Yeah, she talked a little bit about the original, and I agree with her. It is very slow. It is kind of boring.
But she said that it is creepy when the faces of the people that the plant ate show up like in the flowers.
Yeah, it's a little disappointing that they didn't do that.
They could have done
but
that.
I see why they didn't, because that would have been really expensive and hard to do.
Well, I mean, this movie was very expensive and hard to do.
Oh, yeah, and I mean...
They went all out.
It shows, too, because, the puppeteer work in this is phenomenal.
I mean,
even for...
yeah. Well, I mean, Frank Oz, a genius in his own right, but worked a lot with Jim Henson.
Yes.
It's very clear it's that style of puppetry. From what I understand with Audrey, too, they did a lot of stop motion you know, to
there
make
is
him
stop
move.
motion.
But
There's practical.
his mouth, his lips are so like nimble, and so it's really good.
Yeah,
it's really really.
And I
good.
mean, what this movie came out in 86,
yes,
I think,
1986.
It's very impressive for the time, for sure.
I say it still holds up.
And
like honestly,
another thing that I really paid attention to on this watch through, because I mean, obviously the setting is, you could say the 50s. I think
60s, early 60s, because it says President Kennedy at one point right before Grow For Me starts.
Now they nailed it.
Yes.
First of all, they got that right. But one thing that I paid attention to when we watched this last night was I was really impressed with the lighting. Mm-hmm. The lighting is done very well. Yeah. It probably helps that we were watching it, you know, on a Blu-ray, on a 4K
on my
television.
big fucking TV.
It is very impressive. Yeah. Even now, I mean, everything about this movie holds up.
Yes, it does.
And one thing in particular, the songs. Because when it comes to musicals, certainly, and I know you feel the same way, I can forgive bad acting. I can forgive bad cinematography. I can forgive bad directing. What I can't forgive about a musical is bad music.
Well, yeah, I always think of Repo, the Genetic Opera, when that comes up, because the concept is so fucking cool.
And not a single one of those fucking songs stick in my head.
I was a huge choir nerd and orchestra nerd and theater nerd in high school.
One of the hallmarks to me about a good musical is after I watch this thing, do I wake up with these songs stuck in my head?
Oh, yeah.
Am I walking around with the song stuck in my head? I don't remember a fucking single song on the Repo musical.
Just remember Anthony whoever from Buffy. And I was
I mean, I remember some of the actors that were in it.
No, I know. I just remember there was a song. I
remember the plot, but I don't remember any of the songs.
To this day, I listen to this soundtrack, Little Shop, like fairly regularly.
Yeah, it comes on in the car.
Yeah, it's I shuffle my likes, you know, and
right.
But on a longer road trip, the kiddo and I have a few musicals that we'll sing through, like Phantom, Les Mis, Little Shop is on there, Sweeney Todd, stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, and by the way, everybody in this is giving it their all.
Oh my God.
I mean, there are
so good.
There are definitely some moments where the actors obviously are singing.
Yeah.
Too.
Yes, they are. No, you can tell.
Yeah, they didn't AR someone else's voice in the songs. And I mean, you know, some of it was pretty impressive. I think the least impressive probably was Rick Moranis.
I knew you were going to fucking say that.
But
and
there were a couple of times where he definitely hit the notes. And
he gets a little like growly in his voice at a couple of moments, or he hits it really pure. I've studied Seymour's performance my whole life.
Right.
So, yeah. Well, and he ended up, from what I understand, releasing a country album or two.
Yeah, he's
okay, this is not going to turn into shit on Rick Moranis
has albums
whatsoever.
If you want to go listen to him sing. They're not terrible. They're just not
I've never listened to them because I don't really listen to country music. But he is pure and will not be talked shit about.
Yeah, Rick Moranis is like, he's on a level with Keanu Reeves.
Yes. No,
it's just
you do not talk shit about him around me.
What was it like what? At this point, I guess it was several years ago now, someone assaulted him, and I'm like, who the fuck assaults Rick Moranis?
And did you see the internet rise up and be like, if I ever see this fucker, you do not touch Rick Moranis.
Yes,
no fucking
he's a precious boy, and he needs to be protected.
Yes, well, and he like left acting because his wife died of cancer, and he wanted to raise his kids, and like he left everything.
He has definitely had some tragedy in his life, and it's sad.
Like Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tragedy, good boy. Ugh.
So do we need to describe the plot of this?
Well,
I think we should just
the film, which centers on a floral shop worker who discovers a sentient carnivorous plant that feeds on human blood. And shit happens from there. But it stars Rick Moranis, Ellen Greene, Vincent Gardenia. Gardenia? We'll go with Gardenia.
Gardenia.
Yeah, that's Mushnick. Steve Martin, and the voice of Levi Stubbs, who is Audrey too. Who is
perfect.
Fucking incredible performance.
Absolutely.
I do want to talk about really quick, though, my favorite, like I had always said, if I was ever in this, because of course my high school did this musical the year after I fucking graduated. So a bunch of my like lower classmen friends got to be in it. I was so angry.
That must have been complicated.
I had to do Godspell and they got fucking Little Shop. And I was like, this is terrible.
How the hell was a high school going to...
They did it.
With like...
It was a guy
Audrey
dressed up, but you know, it is what it is.
They did like puppeteering and shit?
No, it was just dressed up as a plant. I don't know. I didn't see it. I was salty.
Wow.
But no, I always said I would have wanted to be in the Greek chorus, who are the three ladies who walk around, you know, and kind of, they lead you from scene to scene.
2 of them went on to be in Martin.
I know. I know. But I do need it pointed out that their names are Crystal, Chiffon, and Ronette. And those are all girl groups from the 1960s, like black women doo-wop groups. And that was intentional.
Okay.
The Ronettes, the
I remember
Chiffons.
the Chiffons, but
yeah.
I didn't pick up on that.
So that's just a little thing. But I did also want to say Alan Menken wrote the music, obviously. He is a legend.
Oh, yeah.
Absolute legend.
Yes. If you want a good musical, hire this man.
He did all the, you know, what is it called? Disney, when we were growing up, Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast,
Yes,
Aladdin.
the resurrection era.
Yeah, the golden era, whatever. Whatever they call it, of Disney. You can thank Alan Menken.
Yes, he saved Disney for sure.
He's done so many. He did Sister Act. He did anyways, if you see Alan Menken did the music, it's gonna be full of fucking bangers. And this one absolutely is.
Yeah.
It's impossible not to sing along with.
Well,
I
especially
tried so hard last night.
If you've seen the movie as many times as we have, you might as well just sing along and
hell yeah.
quote it.
Oh yeah. Yes. It does need to be stated that Ellen Greene, who plays Audrey, not Audrey 2, but Audrey 1, the OG, is the only person who was in the musical,
yes,
the off-Broadway musical, who went to the film.
Right.
I adore her. She's so unique.
Yeah, and she's perfect for this role too.
Yeah.
There's just the meek.
Super.
Yeah. Yes.
That very, very distinctive voice, and that, I don't know. You need to structure this, because I will just go off on little tangents about what I love so much. Well, because I was like, what Audrey goes through, her character arc is reflected in her singing. If you think, like, when she's with Steve Martin, Orrin, the dentist, who beats the shit out of her and stuff like that, she sings Somewhere That's Green, and it's this tiny little, very baby voice dream.
Yes.
And once you know that's over, she starts to believe in herself through Seymour's help and Seymour's love, and her voice opens up and becomes this fucking powerhouse. Like, by the end of Suddenly
she can definitely
Seymour,
sing.
Oh Jesus! Well, it's this amazing dichotomy of this tiny little, and then just belting it the fuck out. The only time previous to that she did was the Skid Row song, and that's again dreaming of what could be.
Right.
And I just love it. I love this movie, dude. It's so good. It's one of my favorite musicals ever. Like, easily top 5. So good.
Yeah, I'm really trying hard to find, because like when it comes to this movie, like I put it up there with another musical where I get songs stuck in my head all the fucking time, South Park.
Oh, bigger, longer. And
yes.
No, okay. Trey Parker's musical genius is an entirely separate subject, but that man's a fucking legend too.
Book of Mormon. Like, some of those songs pop in my head.
Well, I can't, but God, I can't sing those around company.
And we all know that, Spadoinkle Day comes up.
Cannibal the
pretty
musical.
Pretty
My
often.
heart's as full as a baked potato.
Yeah.
No, okay. Trey Parker's somewhat. We probably talked about that on the basketball
like
episode.
I said earlier, that's the hallmark of a great musical. Is like the songs need to live on beyond the movie.
Yes.
You need to be able to listen to the soundtrack in your car or whatever, and just have these songs pop in your head. And, that's the sign that they've hit on something. But there's too many musicals out there that, I've heard about. I've tried giving a shot, just listening to, because one of the first things I do when there's a new musical, the first thing I'll do is listen to the soundtrack.
You do.
And if I am not hooked by the soundtrack, I don't even bother watching the fucking movie at all.
Because you'll do that independent of me entirely. You listened to the Beetlejuice musical soundtrack.
Yeah, and honestly, with the Beetlejuice musical, I mean, there were, I think, 3 songs on that stuck with me.
I still haven't seen
and nothing
that.
else really.
But
so
you were like, oh, some of these are pretty good.
But that's not, they didn't do a theatrical version of that. That's just a Broadway thing.
I'm sure you could watch it somewhere though.
Oh, sure. I'm sure it's on YouTube. But no, Little Shop of Horrors is definitely something that just kind of It's the definition of movie magic.
Hell
You
yeah.
know, every single thing here hit on a level that just didn't really have to go that hard.
They put so much effort into every single detail.
Everything. The sets, the actors are acting their asses off. Everyone is singing their asses
Yeah.
off, pulling it off. The cinematographers, the puppeteers, the people who created the puppets, everything. And Frank Oz directing this thing.
Well, yeah, again, legend.
And, you know, this movie relies heavily on every single one of those elements coming together to work, especially the directing, because a lot of it is the scenes transition with songs.
Yes.
And
As they should.
that is very difficult to do.
Well, and the cinematography changes. You know, when the Greek chorus comes in, our three ladies always looking immaculate
Yes.
in so many different outfits. The camera becomes more sweeping and wide and got, you know, it is movement. It's whoosh from
Yes,
scene
you
to scene.
definitely are having a theatrical experience.
Whereas, you know, in the shop, it's much more static. And there is an element of a stage play in a lot of, like, the way they'll kind of look slightly off sometimes or project. It has an element of live theater to it sometimes.
Yeah.
With
yeah,
the polish of a, you know,
for sure. I think
theatrical
especially
release,
like in the
but-
Skid Row song where it's
Oh
like
my
everyone
God,
in the
so
neighborhood
good.
is, you know, dancing and
Hell yeah,
it's
and
all
they know the
choreographed and
moves,
everything.
yeah.
That you definitely get a theater experience.
but then Alan Menken comes in with those fucking harmonies that like leave a chill on you, and you just, if you're me, you want to sing at the top of your fucking lungs, and if you are in your car, you absolutely do. But I did not.
Yeah.
last
I'm
night.
honestly kind of surprised that after all this time, because this is a beloved movie. This is not
Oh, it's a
this
they
is not
call
a
it
hidden
cult
gem
classic.
or anything
No,
like
no,
that.
no.
People are very aware of this film, and I'm very surprised they have not tried to remake this.
I will not watch it.
Well, it depends.
I won't. Not me. Nope. Fuck you.
Again, it depends. Are they going to modernize it too much, or what? If it's too modern, it's not going to work for me. But if handled with care, I wouldn't mind a remake.
I don't want to. It was successful though. The budget was
this was
25
very
million,
successful.
and it made 54 million at the box office.
Yeah, and the
So-
very first time I watched this movie, it was on a cassette tape that I had as a kid that I just kind of inherited from my dad.
A cassette tape?
Well, VHS tape. Whatever.
Oh, okay.
And it was just Little Shop of Horrors. Well, I was already familiar with the classic black and white movie, so I just didn't give it a shot. And there were multiple movies on this tape. So whatever,
I remember those days.
there was something on there. I don't remember what it was. It might have been like Reanimator or something. Something that I
that's a
actually
double
watched.
feature. Oh, okay.
So like, I remember it was summer break and I put the VHS tape in my VCR and I was watching whatever movie it was on that tape that I actually watched. And I fell asleep.
Right.
And when I woke up, it was like partway through Little Shop of Horrors. And I just kept watching it.
What the fuck is this?
And I just watched that thing. Like I watched that movie probably 2 or 3 times that week.
Yeah.
Just enamored by it. I mean, there's something about it that has that quality, you know, maybe it is because Frank Oz directed it, but it has that Muppets quality.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. It was all the pieces coming together.
Oh yeah. Yeah. There was something about it that was just mesmerizing as a
But
kid.
yes, of course, the puppet work. I mean, we have talked about our mutual adoration of Jim Henson and the creative workshop and, you know, all of that stuff, all of that type of things. Most of my favorite movies when I was little had, you know, either Jim Henson or Frank Oz's hand in it.
Right.
You know, so this falls.
Well, that was
right
definitely the
in
era.
middle.
you know.
Hell yes.
The all of the 80s and then the early 90s
Yeah.
were kind of just taken over
A good chunk. Well, because
by Jim Henson.
yeah, hell yeah. And then there's a bunch of cameos. Just
Yeah.
randomly. Christopher Guest, who I love.
John Candy,
Yeah.
Bill Murray.
Jesus Christ. Bill Murray in this fucking movie.
Yeah, I mean, it
Thank
is definitely
you.
like, oh, there's that guy. Oh, there's that guy.
Oh, there's that guy. Yeah. I don't know. Bill Murray is kind of hit or miss for me. I'm not the biggest fan of some of his
I
stuff.
don't mind him.
But but other times I really love him. You know, it just depends. Yeah, John Candy.
Yeah, Bill Murray has just kind of become this entity in Hollywood. You know, the like the Bill Murray myths that go around. It doesn't matter. It's just he's settled into this.
Well, I mean, Zombieland. He played himself as a zombie.
He kind of just plays himself.
Yeah, well,
especially in the more modern films he's been in.
Well, yeah, it's like another movie we were watching earlier this week that you put on, Earth Girls Are Easy. We were talking about because both Jim Carrey and Jeff Goldblum are in that, and I had said something along the lines of Jim Carrey is never Jim Carrey. Jeff Goldblum is always Jeff Goldblum when it comes to.
Yes, Bill Murray and Jeff Goldblum are on that same level of
delivers his Jeff Goldblum self, and he's so quirky that it doesn't fucking matter. You're just like, yay! There he is.
Right.
And then Jim Carrey's off doing his stuff, and he's never his real self. You know, it seems like to me.
Yeah, I love that movie.
I had never seen it before. The title, I was like, I don't care about whatever.
Yeah, that's another one that was on my collection of VHS tapes as a kid.
But yeah, and I like Gina Davis usually. So
what is it specifically? Like if you could remove one thing from Little Shop of Horrors, be it the direction, the cinematography, the songs, what would you remove from this?
Nothing. What are you talking about?
If you had to.
Do you have something? I need to think about that.
Not really. I would say like
the bad ending. I'd remove the bad ending.
No. I love the bad ending.
Okay. We need to delve into this. There are two extremely different endings to this movie. The original one that was shown to test groups and is now the director's cut, and then the theatrical version, which is the one I grew up with. And they could not be more different. I need to say, from a writer, editor, publishing house, creator perspective, what I consider the bad ending is genius. And it makes a lot of sense, and lessons are learned, and it really says something about society as a whole, and how even well-intentioned greed, or, I mean, because in that one, it really is Seymour's lack of self-esteem and belief in himself and love for Audrey, but not trusting her to love him if it wasn't for the money and the fame.
Sure.
That leads to their deaths and the eventual destruction of the human race.
And then there's a fair amount of capitalism involved.
Well, that's the other side that I was going to say, because, then that comes in, and it just goes to show the stupidity of people just buying whatever the fad is, never mind what that might mean for you. And we self-destruct as a species.
And for me, as a fan of horror movies in general, I love...
No. It's really good.
I love the director cut ending.
It's a fantastic idea. It's really well executed. I think some of the bursting through walls goes on a little long. It just... destruction...
I think the destruction was perfect.
But it is really cool to see all the different Audrey 2s, and, that whole side of things is really well done. And that is the version that was shown to test audiences, and they fucking hated it.
I don't understand why.
I do.
That ending was awesome.
But, so they went back and reshot a bunch of stuff, and so the theatrical release, which is the one that I grew up with, Seymour goes in and saves Audrey. She doesn't fucking die. Oh my God, her fucking refrain of "somewhere that's green" during the bad ending is so fucking tragic. Oh my God.
Obviously,
it's beautifully done. But I want Seymour and Audrey to end up together. I want their fucking happiness. That's why the theatrical one is the good ending in my mind, and the other one's the bad ending. The bad ending has the more interesting writing, but I adore Seymour and Audrey so much that I don't.
I think that the bad ending, and you say bad ending,
that's how I've always thought of it in my head. Man, that is how I've always thought of it in my head. Because protect Rick Moranis.
To me, that's the more realistic.
Yes, sure, but God damn it, this whole thing is like a dream setting. Give me a fucking dream. Give me the underdog, the poor little sweet nerdy boy getting the girl of his dreams and getting a house, and she escapes from a terrible situation.
Yes,
and finds
very, very obvious that they wanted audiences to leave the theaters feeling good.
Well, but even the end of the good ending has the little baby Audrey 2 in the garden, so it's left. I mean, honestly, it's quite possible unless Seymour notices and gets rid of it.
Here's what I would change. A similar
thing would still happen.
Here's what I would change in the way that I would have done this movie. If they had shown this ending, the director cut ending, the bad ending, if you want to call it that, to test audiences, and they didn't like it, I would have left it in the movie as a vision that Seymour's having.
Ooh.
So that he can stop it, prevent it from happening. So it's like a red herring ending, and then they go back and do, the good ending, if you will.
That.
I don't see why they should have left that out, because it was filmed. It was very expensive.
Holy shit.
They should have used it in one way or another. Like I said, the easiest way would have been a vision of Seymour that Seymour is having of Audrey 2 taking over the planet and killing humanity.
Because there's the refrain, the reprise of Somewhere That's Green.
Right. And then
that whole other
they
song,
could have
the Green chorus.
They could have even like gone back to the beginning of the film while Audrey 2 is still a little plant after he had this vision and just kills the plant.
I don't see how he would have any idea that it would really lead to that at that point.
Why not?
Because he's a sweet, precious, naive baby.
And then he could have just went and asked Audrey out. He
never would have. Oren still would have been there.
Yeah, but they could have easily written that character out.
You just want a different movie. That changes everything about the movie too much.
The dentist boyfriend, played by Steve Martin, he dies on his own. He's inhaling fucking laugh gas.
Yes, but
he's an addict. They could have easily killed that character off either way.
I think that changes too much of it.
But there was absolutely no reason. I do kind of
like the idea of using it in some form.
Right. There was no reason for them just to axe that entire set, because it's a 20-minute scene.
Yeah, 23 minutes that is cut. And
it's fantastic. It's awesome. And I really do think that should have been left in the film either way. But
it hurts my heart too much for her to be like, okay, well, I'll just be the Somewhere That's Green is now me being within the plant, and you can water me and I'll bloom for you. And then finally, like I can give you the money and the fame, and I would love to do that for you because she sees herself as so broken and impure. Yeah. I mean, that's why she doesn't approach Seymour for so long, because she's like, I don't deserve a guy like that. And I love how much shorter he is than her. Yeah. Like he's so precious. And he's like looking at this tall, statuesque, big boob, blonde,
she's very
gorgeous,
poised,
put together lady, and he's like looking at his like schlubby little self, and he's like, I don't have a chance,
right?
But and that's because they're both fucking, I don't know, they're too good.
Audrey 2,
yeah,
I think Levi Stubbs was
oh my god
perfect for the voice of this plant.
Yeah,
if you had to recast.
What? Why are you trying to change this movie? I'd
like to hear these interactions. Like who would you change if Levi Stubbs had not existed or said no?
Oh my goodness.
Who do you think could have pulled this off?
I don't know. In 1986?
Yes. Because I have the perfect answer.
Okay, well then you just answer.
Little Richard could have done that. This is definitely a Little Richard style character.
Ooh, baby.
Yes. I would like to see at least, because it would have been incredible if he had at least tried out for this role.
Oh my gosh.
Because I don't know if he did or not. I mean, for all I know, he did. But I would like to see that casting, that voice, and just that test reel of Little Richard doing this voice. Because it definitely had to be that type of
absolutely
flamboyant stage actor presence playing this character. Because Audrey 2 steals the show. Once Audrey starts talking.
Oh, yeah.
It's Audrey's movie.
That's it. Yep.
And that was one of the things as a kid watching this that was incredible to me, is just watching it, because when you're a kid watching this, like that is a real plant.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a puppet to a kid.
He never scared me, though.
No.
I was always just like, wow.
Yeah, it made a lot of sense because the plant is from outer space. I mean, this is a alien invasion movie. At the heart of what it is. At the core of this,
during the total
this story, it's an alien invasion movie, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
This isn't something that just they were crossbreeding different types of plants.
And it broke out of the lab or whatever.
Exactly.
No, this is entirely other.
They don't explain what planet they're from.
No.
They don't explain anything about this alien
Why
species,
they came here, how we got here.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
other than he just appeared during the eclipse.
You know, like to bring up Earth Girls Are Easy, which we also watched earlier this week.
Yeah.
That is also kind of an alien invasion movie.
A very small
But
scale. Well, I think they were just hanging out, weren't they?
Yeah, they crash land
Yeah.
in a swimming pool.
Yeah.
And their ship is wrecked and they have to fix the ship to get back home.
And then they get makeovers.
Which is kind of
for
boring.
reasons. And
I mean, it worked in that
according
film.
the friend of Gina Davis just shaves them apparently, and they turn into Jeff Goldblum and Jim Carrey and Damon
but
Wayans.
Little Shop of Horrors doesn't work with the E.T. story, right? The crash landing and then befriending the main character and getting them back home.
No.
That doesn't work for this film. And that's why I appreciate the ending from the director's cut far more than the theatrical ending.
Well, and like I said, from a writing perspective, yes, the director's cut is more interesting.
What the hell was the point of this plant coming to the...
It was a failed attempt. Which is fine too. Well, you've got two sides of things. Because, again, when Audrey 2 crash lands here or whatever, appears, boof, you know.
No, it seems that Audrey 2 came here intentionally.
Yes, well, yes. What I'm saying is when it appears here, it is helpless. Basically, it requires human intervention to become a problem. And it's not like it happens overnight. This is an ongoing thing, and because the person who found it did not believe in himself, is used to just doing what he's told because it brings business into Mushnick's flower shop, and Mushnick, who is his guardian, you know, that took him off the streets when he was a kid,
right,
tells him, okay, you whatever the fuck is going on, because no one really asks a lot of questions for the most part of how are you feeding it, what is going on, you know. Mushnick doesn't care. He doesn't think to ask. Right. He's like, whatever it takes, get business in this shop.
Yes, it's generating interest for the store.
And then Audrey is happy for Seymour, so she starts talking to him a little more and like, hey, we can go out, we can get you some new clothes. And so he's put in a situation where he's the only one that knows that it's fucking human blood that is like from him. And I do like, there's a couple of points in the movie where he's just like dazed, like kind of leaned up against a wall because he has had so much of his blood drained like every night.
He's got the band-aids on all his fingers and shit. Yeah,
he's like, I'm trying, but he's
literally
like,
putting his
woozy.
Blood, sweat, and tears into this plant to generate interest and income into the store.
Because then he feels like somebody.
But it also is one of those things where he feels responsible for this life.
And yes, he does. Yeah.
And in the same way that you do about your plants.
Hey, now, you be quiet. They're lovely. And none of mine have like asked for my blood. Although any gardener can really, there's a grow from me song. Yeah. Any fucking gardener has had that one plant that no fucking matter what, you're what am I doing wrong? Oh my God. So, yeah.
But yes, I definitely see that.
Yes, I name my plants and I talk to them, but they don't talk back. So it's fine.
I definitely see that as, you know, Seymour feels responsible for this life. And, you know, as it grows and once it starts talking, of course, that relationship is on a different level now. Well, yeah. And now Seymour is contemplating murder to satisfy this plan.
But the way they go about that is fucking genius too, because then you have the scene of Oren showing up and like while Audrey 2 is actively trying to convince Seymour, dude, some people deserve to die.
Yes.
And he's like, you can't say that. And he's like, what? It's true. Check this shit out. And you see Oren like slapping the shit out of Audrey, and Seymour sees that. And she's such an unattainable everything to him that he's like, oh, no. He doesn't, and I mean, he doesn't actually kill Oren, but he plans to. He doesn't kill
anybody.
No. Well, it depends on what version. And it kind of, I would argue, he is at least an accessory to Mushnick's murder.
Oh, yeah.
Because he walks forward and Mushnick backs up right into Audrey's mouth and is eaten. So, or Audrey 2, not.
Yeah, but it's not like he didn't push him.
I would call him absolutely an accessory. But like, come on.
Yeah, I mean, you can't
He wouldn't have backed up. He wouldn't have been eaten if Seymour didn't do what he had done.
And you can't really blame the plant for murder.
I don't blame the plant for murder. The plant is doing what the plant wants to do. The plant doesn't give a shit about humans.
Yeah.
He manipulated Seymour from as soon as he was able to. But that's fine. I don't have an issue with that. He's an alien trying to get food, and until he's big enough, he's stuck in a pot. What the fuck's he gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
Shit has to be brought to him. It's not until the end of the movie he breaks out of the pot and got his little root feet going blah, 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 and he's got all the babies.
Dude, that the scene when Audrey 2 gets full grown.
Yeah.
The scene where he, she, whatever, they
I would say, I don't know, it matters.
break out of the
pot.
Mm-hmm. That is incredibly done.
Yes.
It must have been a pain in the ass.
There were, I don't remember
this.
how many puppeteers, but there were many, many, many people.
I would like to know how many takes that took, because this plant is doing some intricate work here. There's some intricate puppeteering, like when
and you got all the babies
when
coming up.
Audrey 2 like uses the payphone.
I love that. But yes, and that's what I was talking about, attention to detail. Like one vine like curls around the long cord like you would, like we all did when we were like,
yes,
and 3 others are tapping.
It's got a tentacle playing with the phone cords. Yeah, there's little things that
takes the cord
come across as very, it's just natural.
Yes.
And that's incredible. Like watching it, there are definitely some points where you're like, okay, that's a little janky looking or whatever. But for the most part, like the puppeteer work in this film is incredible, especially for the time. And it still holds up.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's creatives out there doing puppet work, but I really feel like Jim Henson's in particular during that decade, like anything to do with his workshop or anything Frank Oz had a hand in. They made all my favorite movies. He had a hand in most of my favorite movies. So, no, it absolutely holds up.
What's your least favorite musical?
I don't know. I don't know them all. I don't care for a lot of them.
Mine's Cats. I hate that. I don't like the musical. I don't like the movie they made. Well,
you watched
5 years
the movie.
Ago.
I will not. I will not ever. I've seen enough.
That was a terrifying experience.
I watched. Was it Elvis the Alien did a video on it?
Yeah,
and that was enough for me. I was like, ew, no, thank you. Cats is fine.
Cats is another one that like none of those songs stick in my head.
Well, that may be a demographic thing though, because I know my mom used to like it a lot.
Well, she likes Cats the animal, so maybe that has something to do with it.
But that no, I would say no. She went to see it live.
Hey, I will say that
it was a thing.
The Broadway version of that was far better than that movie they made a few years ago.
Well,
it was more visually appealing.
Yeah.
But as far as a musical goes, I don't need any of those songs in my head.
I don't know. I mean, I grew up with a lot of musicals. I mean, not even discounting Disney entirely, because most of those are musicals too.
But I haven't even seen we have a Rodgers and Hammerstein collection on Blu-ray. Mm-hmm. I haven't even seen any of those, like The Sound of Music from that era.
You've never seen The Sound of Music?
No, or like Bye Bye Birdie, or I've seen
all those.
I have seen
Dick Van Dyke is in Bye Bye Birdie.
West Side Story.
Yeah, that was my dad's favorite movie. My dad, the huge Alice Cooper horror nut, his favorite movie was West Side Story.
Yeah, but there's a lot of musicals that I haven't seen, like classic musicals that
Guys and Dolls, Hello Dolly.
Yeah, Guys and Dolls. I have seen. Did you
see Rent?
Was The Outsiders a musical?
I don't know.
Because I watched that and I don't remember it being. There were songs in it for sure, but I don't know. That one was okay.
I don't even know what you're talking about, so I don't know.
Maybe The Outsiders was. What am I thinking of?
I don't know.
I might be thinking of West Side Story. Because it's kind of similar. It's okay.
Well, is Russ Tamblyn snapping a lot in your vision of what it is you're seeing?
I think there's definitely some
Natalie
snapping.
Wood in there?
Is Pony Boy from Outsiders?
What are you talking about?
I think Pony Boy was a character.
He's from The Crow. What are you talking about?
Pony Boy is from The Crow?
Is he not?
I mean, maybe, but he's
the
definitely
blonde guy who was fucking her mom, isn't it? God damn it! What is happening? Hold on, I'm gonna look up. Well, it says Pony Boy Outsiders movie played by C. Thomas Howell.
Okay.
The Outsiders is a 1983 film. Or it could be Pony Boy Michael Curtis.
Well, I believe the 80s version was a remake or something.
What the hell? Maybe it was... God damn it. Now I got to look up who that was in The Crow.
Now, I have seen Grease. I like Grease.
The
That one's
first
fine.
one.
Yeah, the John Travolta, Olivia Newton-John.
Yeah, well, there's a second one, Grease 2, that has Michelle Pfeiffer in it.
Oh no, I never saw
It
two.
is not
I don't need to
as
see a sequel to that movie.
beloved.
But back in like I believe the 90s, they brought
Fun
Grease
Boy.
back.
That's the guy from The Crow. Sorry.
Okay, I was about to say that there's no way Pony Boy.
I don't
was in The
fucking
Crow.
know.
No, back in the 90s, they brought Grease back to theaters for like an anniversary or something. And I went and saw that with some friends. That was a good time.
I'm permanently tired of Grease because, again, I was in choir my entire school career. And man, choir directors love to make you sing Grease songs.
Yeah, another modern one that I gave a shot and didn't really care for was Anna and the Apocalypse.
I haven't seen
But that was like that was set in like on like Christmas or something. That was very strange.
I have no idea.
But again, that's another movie, just like Repo, the Genetic Opera.
Mhm.
That was more style over substance because the Repo musical definitely had a lot of style, like visually.
Oh, yeah,
it was
no. Just
appealing.
watch it on mute.
Yeah.
Because the songs are
But again,
terrible.
I can't remember any of the fucking songs in that movie.
Oh.
And that's, that I just can't forgive that when it comes to a musical. Like, the songs have to stand out.
Sure.
I can forgive a lot of things. I cannot forgive bad music in a musical.
No.
But Little Shop of Horrors is definitely, I mean, that is cream of the crop as far as I'm concerned.
Like I said,
it's up
it's
there
in
for
my
me.
top 5 favorite musicals of all time and forever will be.
Yeah.
It's wonderful to sing along with. It's fantastic to watch. Every aspect of it's fucking amazing. I love it.
I agree.
Okay. Well, I do have some different little trivia things if you want. As part of the film's promotion, the Audrey 2 plant was occasionally interviewed in character by the press. On at least one occasion, the interview concluded with Audrey 2 eating the interviewer.
Nice.
So,
See, I wish I would have been like, I just wasn't old enough when this movie came out to even have an awareness of it
Sure.
or see any of this stuff on
it's just
television
always
or
been
the
in my
promotion.
life.
That's why I didn't know it existed until I found it on a VHS tape.
Yeah, it came out on December 19th, 1986. So I was 3 years old in 10 days. So it has always been.
I was
in
like
my
5
life.
years old.
Yeah. And this again goes into the detail that they went to. Wardrobe and props were obtained from New York thrift shops in order to attain a period realism. The most difficult items to find were garbage cans, so set director Tessa Davies drove around in a truck filled with new cans, and whenever she saw an old one outside of someone's home, she stopped and offered to trade.
Okay.
It really is I don't know, this is a labor of love, it really seems like, to everybody across the board associated with this movie.
Yeah.
In any way. Oh, Mean Green Mother from Outer Space, which was written for the film, it was not in the original musical, is the first Oscar-nominated song to contain profanity.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a cuss word in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which was good. Like, I like that because again, that just came across as part of Audrey 2's personality.
But when the song was performed at the Oscar ceremony by Levi Stubbs of the Four Tops, it was edited, replacing the more risque lyrics with lyrics cut from the final film, although included on the film's soundtrack. So they had to kind of like when, what was it? Oh, was it a Book of Mormon song? Was South Park? I might be confusing it with the Tony, because all I remember, I know there was a song. No, there was a song from Bigger, Longer, and Uncut that was nominated for something. I don't remember which one it was, but it was the only one that wasn't super profane.
Okay.
Because I remember Robin Williams getting up to talk about it and him suggesting that he would have gone with Uncle Fucker.
Hey, why not? Look, again, just because songs contain profanity and adult themes, like there's no reason why they shouldn't.
In character, it's more authentic.
Right. And again, South Park is another great example. Like every song in that movie is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And then
it's
on
really
top of
good.
it all, like the movie itself was just this theatrical experience. Like,
Yeah, I saw it in theaters.
yeah, so
and
did
it
I.
blew my fucking mind. Much like when they see Terrence and Phillip, in the movie, they go to see the movie and they're like, oh my God.
Right. And when I saw South Park, the Bigger, Longer, Uncut in theaters, I went with some friends who were super into South Park. And at that point, I had only seen like 2 episodes of the show. Because the movie came out during like season 2. Like it
Yeah, it was like 99, 2000.
Yeah,
something
it
like
got
that.
a theatrical release very quickly,
Yes.
especially considering that The Simpsons didn't get one until 2007.
Something like
So
that.
yeah, that was very quickly put in theaters. And I just didn't have a connection with South Park at all. My friends just wanted to go see it. And that's what got me into wanting to watch the show. So yeah, it's definitely, when it comes to musicals, you definitely need to have that. There's magic there that needs to be present.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah.
Otherwise it's going to fall flat for me. And it's just going to be another film that I either don't buy, or if I have it, it just sits on the shelf and never gets watched again, which I have far too many of.
Really? I had no idea.
Did you have anything else you wanted to add?
I don't know, man. If for some reason you're not very familiar with this movie, I can't speak to, I can't speak to the original or anything like that. But this one it's special. I don't know.
Yeah, because it's weird, it's quirky, it's interesting. The songs are great. The cinematography is great. The direction is great. Every actor in this movie is giving it their all. Everybody performing, singing. Like, this is top tier as far as musicals go.
Well, or I don't know. I'd go further than that.
It definitely, deserves to be watched. If any of you listening to this haven't seen it, go see it.
Please.
And do yourself a favor and just buy a copy of it, because you're going to want to watch it.
You're going to want to watch it again. Absolutely. Yes.
Considering that there are two versions of the movie, the theatrical and the director's cut, I recommend the director's cut. Watch them both. They're both great. But for me, the director's cut is definitely the better version of the film. I know you disagree.
I don't want
That's
Seymour to
fine.
die.
We can disagree on that.
I literally just don't want Seymour to die. And after Audrey dies, he's broken. And, he even says in the bad ending, he's like, you took the only thing I loved, the only thing that.
Yeah. And I mean, with
which again,
Seymour's,
arguably Seymour has done all of this.
Seymour's death makes a lot more sense than Audrey's, because
I will say Audrey's death absolutely makes sense, because each death, it starts out just with blood, and then it's Oren, and then it's Mushnik, and then it's Audrey. And each meal, Audrey 2 gains more power, gains bigger, eventually there's babies. And there was babies, but if he hadn't eaten Audrey, well, see, it's hard to say. I think it's the 1-2 punch of Audrey and Seymour that really allowed him to break everything. Because in the good ending, Audrey doesn't die, but he still breaks out of the pot and has his little Rudy bits from Mushnik.
mm-hmm.
I think Audrey knew she was going to die anyways. And I mean, because he chomped her, right? Because of course he did, because he called her over.
Right.
Or Audrey 2 called Audrey over to eat her.
Yes.
Because at this point, Seymour is starting to fight back a little. And no, we're not having that.
Yeah, Seymour has already made it very clear to the plant. He's not killing anybody for the plant.
Right.
He's just going to go down to the meat market and
get some ground rounds.
Yeah, some raw meat.
Yeah.
And that's just not going to work for
Don't
Audrey
do me no
too.
favors.
So while he goes out to get some meat, he uses the payphone to call Audrey. And how he got her number, I don't know, but it doesn't matter.
Why she thought that was Seymour talking like that, I have no idea. But
why the hell she even came over there in the first place is a little weird.
Because she looked across the street and saw the plant moving and talking.
Right, but why would you go over there?
Well, I think she also is naive in her own way.
Sure.
And she doesn't know that he's evil.
It works. It's just a little weird.
She doesn't know he's eating people.
Right.
So, she gets chomped in both. Because, victim of opportunity and to keep Seymour in his place. In the good ending, Seymour comes in, gets her out, and they end up electrocuting. After, the Mean Green Mother song and all that, they electrocute Audrey and blah, blah, blah. Audrey too. In the bad ending, she knew you could see there were like puncture wounds in her wedding dress around her middle.
Right.
So he chomped her.
Yeah, and then once she dies,
she was dying.
Seymour feeds her to Audrey too.
Yes,
and then he goes up on the roof to commit suicide.
She asks him to. She said, when I'm dead and
Yeah,
it's not
yeah,
going to take long, feed me to the plant so you can take care of me and we can always be together.
Right.
And I can help bring you fame and money because I love you. Which is, dark and fucked up.
And while he's on the roof about to jump off, that's when he finds out that they're trying to market this plant.
Yeah, which is different, again, between the two versions, because in the one version, it's Jim Belushi, the good ending. He comes in and he says, hey, we want to take cuttings and, everything could happen, grocery stores nationwide, Audrey 2's everywhere. And Seymour's like, that's his breaking point. He's like, no, fuck the money, fuck anything. Oh my God. And then he goes in and confronts Audrey 2 and is like, that was your goal. And that's the big showdown. In the bad ending, they sneakily took cuttings already. Like, it's too late.
Right. They've already created.
They're like, here,
Audrey
look,
2.
check this shit out. You want some money for it? And he's
They're
like,
making many, many clones of Audreys. They're putting them in the stores. People are going nuts for these things. Everybody in town is buying them.
And because Audrey 2 ate Audrey 1 already, when Seymour goes back in for that final confrontation in the bad ending, Audrey 2 is stronger, eats Seymour. He doesn't have a chance.
He didn't really put up much of a fight, honestly.
Well, because he's fucking broken by that point.
Right.
But he's going to try and do something. But then he's captured. And that is something that I don't care for in the bad ending, is how long it takes to plant to eat both Audrey and Seymour. It is a very drawn out sequence of very slowly approaching the mouth. And I'm like,
I mean, they definitely drew it out for effect because Audrey and Seymour are both the main characters in the movie, with the exception of Audrey 2. So it makes sense that they would.
At least a minute, if not longer, which doesn't sound like a long time, but sit in silence for a minute and realize how fucking long a minute is. From the time Audrey 2 captures Seymour to when he's finally in the fucking mouth and spits out the glasses, which is so sad.
That was cool. I like that little touch.
It's a good little touch. So which I don't know.
Immediately we are treated with a 20-minute long because the Earth destruction.
The Greek
scene.
chorus comes back and they're like, all right, so and here's what happened. And
which is incredible. I mean, there's hundreds of Audrey 2s now tearing up buildings,
and they
tearing
do
up
different
bridges.
Things. Like one in a chimney or whatever, and all the glass blows out of it.
Yeah.
They have different, it's not just the same puppet put in different places at the same time. Or if so, they have different movements for the mouth and they do different things.
I think it was the same puppet. They just edited it in a way that they looked like
they're
a bunch of different
all
ones.
just there, ha, 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 ha. A bunch of them are.
Yeah.
But they do different things.
Well, and I like that they all have the same voice.
Hell yeah.
Because they are clones of Audrey 2. I mean, they were taken from the leaves of Audrey 2. So it would make sense that they're all identical clones of Audrey 2, which is incredible. And I love that scene. I think it was done very, very well. Now, just so you are aware, in the director cut, there are some scenes that I guess they didn't completely finish during the destruction. So some of the
quality dips a little.
Yes.
But it's the camera quality.
Yeah. I think that it was I think they added that back in for the director's cut.
I have a thing about that. Let me see.
So it is very clear that some of these puppets are on a green screen or blue screen or something.
Yeah.
But I still think that it was done well, and it doesn't really removed from the experience.
The film's original 23-minute finale based on the musical's ending was rewritten and reshot after testimonies, blah, blah, blah. We know that. For years, only available as black and white work print footage, the original ending was fully restored in 2012 by Warner Home Video, and a director's cut was released.
Okay.
So it was black and white work print footage for a long time. So it's work print is just a rough version of the movie. It's not all polished up and shit. So yeah, you can see that it is all in color now and they restored it. But yeah, there is a noticeable. Yeah,
there's a little bit of dip in quality here and there. Yeah. But for the most part, it matches the same cinematography of the actual movie. They put a lot of work into restoring that if it was in black and white, because that was a very colorful segment of the movie. But yeah, I highly recommend every single one of you watch this. If you haven't, if you have seen it, watch it
Go
again.
watch it again. It's so good.
Watch if you haven't seen the director's cut. If you don't own it, you can. We watched it on YouTube like years ago.
Yeah.
When we found out there was a different ending.
I was horrified.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, no.
And right after that, I think we went out and got the Blu-ray.
Yes.
And, you know, it had the director's
It's one
cut
of the
on
movies that has always been in my life, always had a copy on some format or another. If another format comes out that's better than Blu-ray, I'll own it on that too, because I never don't want to be able to watch it.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a 4K Blu-ray release
Don't know.
of this. If not, there needs to be. And yeah, we'll buy it. We'll watch it again.
Then I will always listen to the soundtrack on long road trips and stuff like that. And it's very good. And I love it. And yeah, that's what I know.
Well, with that, we can call that an episode. Jess, where can people find you?
My name is Jess Moon. I am at JHL Moon, mainly on Instagram and Blue Sky. I am active on Blue Sky again. So what is it? Like at jhlmoon.bsky.social or whatever the thing is. Just you can find me. And then, of course, I have a publishing house, Shadow Spark Publishing, and we are at Shadow Spark Pub pretty much everywhere that has social media. We've got a YouTube channel too, occasional podcast episodes there. I know our latest anthology is going to be coming out next month, and this one's called Dream Caught, and it is a collection of dreams and or nightmares written by a bunch of different Shadow Spark authors. And yeah, that's me.
All right, you can find me. I'm out there at Chad J Moon on Instagram. You can follow the podcast on Instagram as well. We have the YouTube channel at youtube.com/@theprettylittlepodcast 69420. Thank you to all of you who listen to this. We really do appreciate it. If you want to subscribe to us, feel free. If you like to comment, feel free to do so as well. I will respond if I can. Bye.
Bye.